Come to standing and lift and roll the shoulders. Press your feet into the ground. And we're going to start straight away with the upper respiratory tract immune booster. So this is particularly relevant for what we're all worried about at the moment. So we're going to start straight away. Just join in when you're ready. Last one, and then just sway from side to side. If you do one exercise in the day for boosting your immunity, for the upper respiratory lungs, for particularly relevant for COVID, then that is the lung exercise. The other thing that is really relevant for COVID, almost as much as that, or equal rating, is the neti pot. And if you think, I cannot bear to have a neti pot, then the chemist, any chemist, the one in Claygate, has Sterimar, which is a nasal saline spray. I don't think it's 100% as effective as neti, but it's pretty much so. Because any viral thing, and then just sway your arms from side to side, accumulates in the back of the nose before it then goes into the body system. And a saline solution will kill off anything before it activates. So the one thing, as I said, if you can't bear a neti, which is like the little teapots, then the saline spray that you sniff up is very effective as well. While we're on immune system, I'm just going to do this one, which is the mid-lung. We won't do it for so long. And last one. Lift and roll the shoulders and then just sway from side to side. So that's the mid-lung. The upper, what all these exercises do is to increase your exhalation, and so it gets rid of any toxins and muck and accumulated whatevers in the lungs, but it's the top part of the lungs that is particularly relevant with COVID, but also applies to any viral bug flu, any flus, but then of course COVID is a coronavirus, it's flu, although it's obviously a terribly virulent strain. And then we'll just do a couple to come to standing. The last one, which is the lower abdominal area, and then you've been totally boosted. We won't do this for very long. And last one, lift and roll your shoulders and again sway from side to side. Why it's particularly relevant, I attended a really fascinating lecture by Swami, and she reiterated that the masks don't necessarily protect you. So what we've just done is really very much protecting you. If you've been out shopping, or you've socialised, or you've been out anywhere, whatever you've been doing, that is really helpful to boost your immune system. And then come to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders, raise your arms up, clasp your hands and reverse. And then just go to one side, come to the centre, and then go to the other side, and come to the centre. And then turn slightly to one side, come to the centre, and turn slightly to the other side, and come to the centre. Lower your hands to shoulder width, turning as you breathe out to look beyond the fingers of one hand. Breathing in, come to the centre, and breathing out, turn to look beyond the fingers of the other hand, and come to the centre. Lower your hands, lift and roll your shoulders, and place your hands on your waist. You might like to have your feet slightly further to hip width apart. Just lift your heels and test your balance today. And then gently lower your heels and carry on to bend your knees. Your bottom goes away from you and you'll feel your abdominal muscles activate. So this is also connected to our core, which is part of our immune system. Breathing in, come back upright. Lift and roll your shoulders and clasp your hands behind you, opening up your shoulders, which is your lung meridians in the shoulder part here. And then just release your hands and raising your hands up, circle your wrists, stretch your fingers, look up if your neck allows, if not, look straight ahead, and then circle your wrists down. And then circle your wrists up, stretch out, and circle your wrists down. So this is also a brain balance. Raise one hand and circle your wrists. You'll notice that they go in the opposite direction. And then circle in the other way. And lower your hand. Raise the other hand, circle your wrists in one direction, and then circle your wrists in the other direction. And then lower your hands. So this is also immune boosting, and it's marching on the spot. The action of the feet as they come to the ground sets up a very small vibration that travels from the base of your feet right the way up to the top of your head. And a vibration is a movement, and it's the opposite of stagnation. So this is really good again for boosting the immune system. You can lift your knees a little bit, or you can really lift your knees up. You choose where you want to go. And then as we come to move less, just come to move your feet a little bit and come to standing, open your palms and just sense that tingling that starts to happen as your blood has moved around. And breathing in and out. Breathe in, breathe out, bring your hands to the centre. Breathe in, raise your hands up and look up, only if that's good for your neck. And breathing out, lower, bend your knees, lower your hands to the ground. Inhale, straighten your legs. If your fingers then touch the ground, then just put your hands on your shins as you lengthen along your spine from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathing out, bend your knees. Breathing in, press your feet down as you begin to roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing, and raising your hands up. Stretch your fingers and lower your hands. And then breathing in, breathing out, hands together at the heart. Breathing in, raising your hands up. Breathing out, lower, all the way down to either the floor or to wherever your hands reach. Halfway, so breathing in, lengthen from the tailbone to the top of the head, the chin's in. Breathing out, bend your knees and slightly bend your elbows. Breathing in, press your feet into the ground as you roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Stretch up. And breathing out, lower your hands. Bring your hands together, breathing out. Press the palms together. Breathing in, raising your hands up. Breathing out, rolling down vertebra by vertebra. Breathing in, lengthening along your spine. Breathing out, bend in, bend your elbows. Breathe as you press your feet down to roll up vertebra by vertebra, stretching your hands out. And breathing out, lower your hands. So this next exercise works on many levels. I find it almost impossible to explain it. So just join in when you're ready. So I'm bringing my hands up. I'm bringing my hands behind me. I'm crossing my hands. And then I'm bringing my hands back. Breathing in, up. Breathing back. Cross the other way if you can remember. Bringing hands back. In, out, cross, back. In, out, cross the other hand, back. In, out, cross, 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 back. And then just swing your arms, and once more just sway from side to side. So that previous exercise works, as I said, on so many levels. It goes to clear frustration and irritation and anger. So it's clearing really your liver and gallbladder, but it's clearing also your magnetic field as you bring your hands up and cross, bring them up and down. So it's a very clearing exercise, getting rid of anything that doesn't serve you. And then this moving from side to side is dispersing that energy. And then just gently come to standstill and lift and roll your shoulders. Step with your feet out. The instruction, if you were doing it classically, your wrists would be in line with your ankles, and you can see that mine aren't. So I brought my feet in less. But that would be the measurement, that your wrists would be, I'd have to open my feet out wider, but I'm going to suggest bringing your feet in less. And then lift and roll your shoulders. Turn your left foot in and your right foot out. If you find that your balance is wobbling, then you can bring your right foot out further to the edge of the mat. Hands up in Warrior Two, look beyond the fingers of your right hand. Drop your weight centrally by subtly bending your right knee. And just enjoy breathing in and out. And then drop your back left hand, straighten your right leg as you raise your right arm and look up towards your right thumb. Come back to Warrior Two and bring your left hand to join your right palm. Draw your left elbow back high like drawing a bow, opening across the centre of the chest. Open your arms out into Warrior Two again. And then lifting your arm up, look at the base of your thumb. Bring your arms out to Warrior Two. Left hand to right. Bring the left elbow back high. This time lift up your right arm. Lower your right arm as you open out your hands. Drop your arms. Bring your right leg to centre. And then bring your right foot in. Your left foot goes out. Make any adjustments that you need to. Bring your arms out into Warrior Two. Drop your front left knee. Drop your weight centrally and look beyond the third finger of your left hand. Drop your right hand to your right thigh and lift up your left hand looking at your left thumb, and your left leg might straighten. Come back to Warrior Two and bring your right hand to join your left palm. Draw your right elbow back at shoulder height and lift up your left thumb, looking at it. Bring your left hand back to normal shoulder height and then open both arms. Warrior Two. Bring your right palm to your left. Slide your right elbow back high, drawing your bow. Lift up your left arm, looking at your left thumb and opening out. Drop your hands, come back to the centre. Bring your toes inwards, heels out. So here, Tessa, you might want to limit how far you come down. You might just want to come to here, but if you're able to, then come straight down to bending your knees to a forward bend. And just very gently sway your knees from side to side. And then take your left hand to hold your right shin and place your right hand on your right waist, turning to look either straight ahead or up. You're opening up your right shoulder. Come to place your hands on the ground as you move your right hand to your left leg. Place your left hand on your left waist and open up to the other side, the left. Come back to the centre. Just enjoy your forward bend. You can walk your hands out in front of you if you want to, that's optional. Just stretching out. Your bottom would come back away from your hands. And now bring your hands back heel toe, so bring your heels in towards each other and then bring your toes towards each other, then your heels and then your toes, and you'll come to your feet being about hip width apart again. Press your feet into the ground, bend your knees and roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Lift and roll your shoulders and open your palms outwards. So here, with your palms outward, you're activating some energy meridians, so heart and lung coming up to the top of your shoulders. And then just release. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then bend your knees to come down to the ground. And we're going to come into a cat-cow movement. If you need support under your knees, then please roll the mat up or take a blanket. So dipping your back, rounding your back chin to chest. Dipping your back, looking either up or along the mat. And rounding your back chin to chest. Dipping your back and rounding your back chin to chest, and begin to bring your bottom towards your heels, but you might not want to come down very far, just a little bit or a lot depending on your knee. But you can stretch out your hands in front of you, your bottom can be up, and then move both hands to the left. Feel the stretch on your right side. Even here, engage your perineum upwards and slightly bring your tummy in towards your spine. Bring your hands back to the centre and walk your hands a little bit over to the right so that you feel this stretch on the left side of your body. Still engage your perineum and slightly bring your tummy in towards your spine. Move your hands back to the centre and then just come back to cat again. And rockabye baby as you just sway your bottom from side to side. And now you can either carry on swaying from side to side, or you can come to trace a figure of 8 with your nose, so that your bottom sways around the figure of 8. And just notice, you can go a little 8 or a big 8. Just notice which direction you've drawn your 8, because that will indicate which part of the brain is more dominant. We naturally tend to go to one side. And you can carry on with your figure of 8, or you can try and reverse the 8, which I'm finding incredibly difficult because my brain obviously orientates one way. I tend to start and then go backwards. So it's just almost, this is a brain exercise as much as a hip exercise. And then come back to the centre and once more sway from side to side. And now slide your right foot back and extend your right heel along the mat. Just feel the stretch into the back of your right leg. Your toes are on the ground and they're tucked under, so you're opening the lung meridians under your feet where the toes, I think, join the foot. And then, if you want to, you can lift your right leg, extending the right heel. Keep your back in line, and then just lower your right heel. And then come back to kneeling and just swaying from side to side. And then extend your left foot so that your left toes are tucked underneath. You're extending along the back of your left leg and stretching out underneath the toes. Now you can stay like this, or you can lift your left leg, extending the heel, and then breathing out, lower the left leg. Come back to kneeling and just sway from side to side. Walk your hands towards you as you kneel up. Again, please take any support. And you might like to turn around so that you're not facing the top of your mat, but you're sideways. Feel that you can bring your hands down to the left to support you as you bring your right foot out. Are you okay on that? No. Yeah. Kneel up. And then very gently raise your left hand, turn whichever side you've gone out with, bring up the opposite hand. And then very gently slide down. You're not going to go very far. Just watch that you don't twist your hips. So sometimes you twist your hips and you come down quite a way, but you've lost the integrity of the pose. So feel that you're between two panes of glass. Slide upright and bring the hand that you had upright onto the ground. Raise your other hand upwards, looking either straight ahead or up at the hands, your choice. This is optional. Optional to lift your leg. I'm lifting my right leg. That's optional. And then also optional is to bend the right knee and hold the right ankle and come into dancer's pose. That might be a stretch too far, but it's quite lovely if you are there. And then gently release your knee, come to kneeling up. Just open your palms up, outwards, and then come to the other side. So I'm stretching my left leg out and kneeling up. So now I'm lifting my right arm and just slightly coming over. You're not going to go very far. Just a very lovely stretch. Also along the inside of the thigh as well. Tummy in to support you as you lift up, and then bring the right hand down to the ground. This is all optional. You can stay like this. You can bring the other hand up. You can lift your leg. If that's too much, come back to normal. And then of course you've got the option of lifting up and holding your ankle and coming into a form of dancer's pose. So then coming back, releasing gently the ankle to come back to kneeling. That stretch that you can just open your palms and open up. That stretch here in this part of the quads, those muscles connecting to your thigh bone, and the thigh bone is where the majority of your lymph nodes, your white lymph nodes, are manufactured. So you are boosting your immune system by stretching out that. So come to just onto your side and just come to check your hips, a double V. So use support. This is one of the perfect 5 hip exercises or hip movements for the body. And our hips, if you link the body with our emotions, is where we are going forward in life. So if people can't see where they're going forward, especially as we get older, it's where you have a lot of hip problems. And then just support yourself as you come upright and go to the other side. It's a double V. If ever you wanted to improve your hip health, you could sit like this watching the television, but have a cushion underneath your lifted bottom because it's supposed to be even. But I do agree that, or understand that this might not be your favourite pose. Just a taster. And then gently, hands either side as you come up, and come into Baddha Konasana, so bound angle pose. And we're very lucky because we've got Sue with us today, who's a trained reflexologist. So I don't know if Sue wants to focus on any part of the foot to relate to any part of the body.
Well, should we do the lungs? That's the theme of the...
So Sue is going to talk to us about the part of the foot where the lungs are represented. So over to you, Sue.
So basically the lungs are the balls of the feet, so underneath the base of the toes down to where the balls of the feet finish. So you can push your thumb across quite deeply in there, up and down or sideways. And it's supposed to activate the lungs. If you get any sort of pain somewhere, it might be a case that maybe you're a bit asthmatic or a little bit of a cold or cough or something. You can usually feel it in one side. and if it feels alright. And then the other thing that's quite relaxing is to push your thumbs where you've got like two balls of your feet, so if you go to the middle of those where they finish underneath, and there's a soft area, and press there, that's your solar plexus, so that's just basically helping your equilibrium, and if you're feeling anxious or upset about something, pressing there often can just make you feel a little bit more comfortable, just nice and gently. So that's just underneath the balls of the feet in the middle, in the soft area. If you press too hard, it can actually hurt quite a bit, so do it nice and gently. And that's quite comforting if you're feeling a bit anxious.
So thank you. We don't often give time for our feet, so it's very nice to be able to do that in this position. We're also opening under the thighs as well, which is part of our immune system. Now, when someone said to me the other day that they wanted some work on their tummy, so I'm going to just give you a very gentle work on your tummy. Slide your hands under your knees, bring your knees together, walk your feet back, hold under your thighs, clasp under your thighs. Can I just say that the boat pose is very harsh on a lower back issue, so you might not want to engage, and I'm not actually great on the full boat pose. Just try lifting your feet off the ground and sitting upright by bringing your knees towards you. So that's what they call the first expression, and that is activating your core. At any point, if you feel any strain, put your feet down. The next one, of course, is extending your feet out. I'm okay with that. What I'm not great with, I'll do it for a nanosecond, and this is really tight on your back, is to put your hands out. But those of you who want to tighten your core, then please do that. And then when you're ready, just bring your feet back down to the ground. Just slide forward to stretch out your lower back. And then just stretch your feet out, and just in the same way that we did our power walking, this again sets up a vibration in the legs. And people seem to have a preference either to pat their legs up and down or rub their legs. So you choose which you want to do. And you don't have to keep to your legs. You can do your tummy, you can do your thighs, you can do your chest, you can do your arms. It's all part of almost like, not skin brushing, but it's almost that type of thing that you're just creating a vibration in your body. So again, we're talking about boosting our immune system. You've got lots of little points all over your legs and just rubbing underneath everywhere. And then just come to slide your hands down your shins, just a soft forward bend. Your hands can be down, but if you particularly wanted to relax, you can open your palms upwards, and that will just slouch you down. I'm going to have my palms down. Just take a couple of breaths here. So any forward bend calms the nervous system. Classically, you should have your toes up to the ceiling. It's very easy to forget that, but you do whatever suits you. And just take another in and out breath. You choose how far you want to come down, so you can come down a little bit, or you can slide your hands down and come down a little bit more. And then bring your feet into a V, and bring your hands up to the centre. Turn towards your outstretched right leg. Bring your left hand to your right shin, and your right hand goes behind, either palm up or palm down, almost behind you, like flying. And then inhaling, coming up, hands up, turn towards your outstretched left leg and bring your right hand down to the shin of your left leg, and your left hand goes behind. I've got my palms upwards. Inhaling, slide the hand up, hands up, turn to the right again, left hand to right shin, right hand behind. Inhaling, stretch up, And breathing out, tummy in again, right hand to left shin and left hand behind. And then coming up, bring your hands to the centre in front of you and just walk forward, not very far, just to where you feel comfortable. And just take an in and an out breath. And then sliding the hands up, bend your knees, and we come now to lying, knees bent, feet hip width apart. Palms down on the ground. Just rest the hands on the abdomen so that the elbows are out to the side, and just connect to noticing as your abdomen, your tummy, as it rises on the inhalation and subtly falls away. And then very gently slide your hands up to your ribs, which will mean open your elbows wider. And just notice what it feels like to support your ribs. How that slows maybe your breath down a little bit more. And how the ribs move out to accommodate your in-breath, and how they just subtly move inwards as you breathe out. And then just lightly release the hands, palms down alongside you, and start to sway your knees from side to side, and you can lift your hips slightly to do this. And you can have your feet hip width apart, but you can also have your feet wider than hip width apart. And that will make the movement easier, and you can move more onto your bottom, but how much you want to move is entirely up to you. So this comes to an area that I'm particularly interested in, and it's called somatic movement. And it looks very much at the relationship of the say like the hips to the torso and the arms to the torso, which is part of our aging process. Because when you don't use your hips in their full rotation, the muscles can slightly contract and they pull in slightly, and that's where your posture gets slightly out of balance, and then that's where the aging process can be exacerbated. So this goes quite a long way, very gently, to just release out the hips. Come back to the centre, bring your feet more to hip width apart, and lift up your left knee, hugging your left knee into your chest. I've got at the moment my right foot bent, my right knee bent and my right foot on the ground. Turn your left knee out to the left and place your left ankle on top of your right leg. Hands can be palms down as you just once more sway from side to side. And then cross your left leg over your right. Tummy in, perineum engages to lift both feet off the ground, and slide your hands down your legs, your shins, holding wherever that's appropriate. So you'll do it naturally, but my right hand is on my left shin and my left hand is on my right shin. You can slide your hands down to your ankles if you want to, or just come to your shin, whichever or wherever it feels good for you. So this is opening up at the base of the spine, particularly if you've had any compression. And you can stay static, or you can just slightly wobble from the inner to the outer edge of the spine. You're not going to move very far. And then very gently, you can support your legs underneath, but bring both feet back down to the ground. Uncross your left ankle, back to both feet on the ground, both knees upright. Hands palms down as you sway your knees once more from side to side. And then Hug your right knee into your chest, your Apanasana movement. And then very gently open your right knee out to the right and place your left ankle on top of your left leg. And just gently sway from side to side a little bit. Your hands can be palms down alongside you. And then cross your right leg over your left properly. Tummy in, perineum engages slightly to lift both feet off the ground. And then slide your hands down your shins. So again, we're crossing over. My left hand is on my right shin and my right hand is on my left shin. And you'll just feel this opening up at the lower spine, but also on the outer hip as well. And you can stay static or you can just slightly wobble. And then very gently place both feet on the ground and uncross your right leg. Just sway your knees from side to side. And then hug one knee and then the other knee in towards the chest. And sway from side to side, just massaging across your lower back and the upper, I was going to say upper sacral area, but actually it's really more lower back here. Clasp underneath your thighs. You can hold hands and just raise both feet to the ceiling. Just circle your ankles in one direction. And then circle both ankles in the other direction. And just stretch your toes out and just release and relax them. And then just gently sway from side to side. So imagine that you're a strand of seaweed and you're just slightly drifting as the water laps. This becomes your inversion, and any inversion, which includes downward dog actually, but any inversion starts to rebalance the endocrine system or your hormonal balance. Releases pressure on your legs, particularly if you're standing a lot all day, really helpful for that. And you can always do this exercise with your legs resting over a chair or up the wall, and you can have support under your head as well. And then come to the centre, bend both knees, hug your knees into your chest. Still holding your knees, as you breathe in, let your knees drift away to arm's length. Hug both knees into the chest. Still holding them, let them drift away. And just carry on with this movement a few times in your own breath. So this is so much more than hugging the knees into the chest. This is working on the Apana energy. It's our foundational energy. If this energy is out, everything else is out. So it's really setting our balance. You can often feel this along your spine because it just pulses on your lower back, but the ground is supporting you, so it's very safe spinal movement. And the spine leads right up to the head, the neck and the head, so literally your spine is straight, all the blood is able to flow freely right the way to the head. It's almost, but having said that, if you've got an eye concern, because your head's on the ground, you're not putting pressure in your head. So it's a really, really safe and balanced movement. And then come as you are to hold your knees. You might want them slightly in, just more neutral. Just move both knees in the same direction, but just make little circles with both knees moving in the same direction. And you'll find that you're circling at the base of your lower spine. And this is hugely helpful if you just want to massage around the base of the spine that can get so stuck sometimes with stagnant energy. In Kundalini Yoga, the representation is that energy accumulates at the base chakra, the base of the spine, symbolically, and so we need to release this energy to flow up the spine, to release our pent up, our stagnation, and then just move both knees around in the other direction. So this is just targeting that lower base area. And then very gently, so hold your legs underneath the thighs to place both feet on the ground. Hands can be palms down or resting on your abdomen. And just roll your head, move your head to the right. Take an in and an out breath. Bring your head back to the centre and very gently roll or move your head to the left. As little or as much as you would like, taking an in and an out breath. Come back to the centre and just once more in your own time, roll your head gently from side to side. So this is rebalancing in the somatic movement, the top of the spine, where we can also get very stuck with our energy, because the neck is the link between the physical body and our emotional body. And so often what we do doesn't resonate with what we want to do or what we think. And that disconnect can cause problems around the neck in all kinds of ways. And then just take for the next moment or two, either stay with your legs bent and feet on the ground. You can have your knees touching, or you can come to full Shavasana for a moment or two. Just choose to finish in a relaxation pose. And the purpose of relaxation is to allow the movement that we've made to settle back down in the body. If you jump straight up off your mat, you might feel it doesn't finish off your yoga properly. And I'm just going to play the koshi. I've just got one koshi, the tinklies. So just bring your attention to your feet. Relax and let your feet go. Let your mind wander up the legs to the knees. Check that your knees aren't holding any tension. And then to the thighs. Let the thighs be heavy on the ground. And then just let your attention run up towards your chest. Lift your chest up and then settle it back down to the ground. Lift your shoulders up towards your ears and then release them back down. And then gently turn your head once more from side to side. And this particular koshi connects to the element of air. And air and its related sibling of ether connect to the flow. And they connect in yoga, if you're familiar with Ayurveda, to Vata, the Vata element. And Vata connects with pain. So flow and movement is the opposite. It takes away pain. Stagnation is where it is the opposite of health. So flow and movement of the air is what you're aiming for. And the higher sound, because the air is one of the higher elements, it's not dense like the earth, connects more with the brain and our emotional senses. So just let everything flow today. And then imagine yourself wrapped in the colour of your choice, like a candy floss, in and out. Cocooning you, only allowing positive thoughts in, nothing negative. And while you're in this cocoon of your colour of your choice, take a moment to have a wish or a thought for the day, for yourself or for anybody close to you. And think that thought a couple of times to set the intention for the day. And then you can either stay where you are, just enjoying the relaxation. If you want to join me to finish the class, then become aware of what's connecting you to the mat. And begin to make any movement that you want to make, moving fingers or toes or hugging your knees into your chest, to come to a seated position to join me for the end of the class. So the air element I'm going to let drift. It's impossible to maintain, to retain stress when your mind is distracted by sound. It's much easier to let things go. So I'm going to let the air element drift off. And then come to take a bow for yourself, chin to chest, hands at the heart. And thank you very much everyone for joining me today.
Thank you.